same. Doing what I did before. A few punks in town, don't know the score. See me, I run the show. Don't get in my way, or you'll have to go. I'm back, Charles Endell Esquire is definitely back. Definitely. Titty bum bum, titty bum bum, a titty bumbaroni, a titty bum bum, a diddle-ide low, a diddle-ide do. Don't get in my way, or you'll have to go. I'm back.
This way, Mr. Endell, sir, if you please. This way, sir.
It's a pleasure to be of service, Mr. Endell.
Evening, Charlie. Kerry Crow here.
Get wormed.
Yes, Mr. Endell. Anything you say.
How's it with you, Charlie?
Who the hell's that one-eyed freak?
It's almost late, unlamented Alistair Vint.
Oh.
Mr. Endell.
We'll have that straight away and put 2 more on ice.
Certainly, sir. Certainly, Mr. Endell.
And the smoked salmon a la russe is ready when you are, sir.
I hope you chilled the caviar before rolling it in the salmon.
Indeed, we did chill it, Miss McCree.
That's the opposite of what I have to do before I roll you.
Don't be disgusting.
Morning, Charlie. Well, don't break up the happy home. It's scheduled in the National Architectural Interest. Anyhow, it's the only one I've got.
What am I supposed to do? Get my legs shot for the sake of your architectural heritage?
This room was made for a wee Victorian serving girl, not for the likes of you.
Oh, honestly, honey, I wasn't criticising you. There's no reason in the world why
Come
you
on,
should
get
give me a
this
bed.
down here. I've got your breakfast ready and I've a class at 9.
Oh. I've always been one of the self-employed, the breed that built this country. The breed these petty bureaucrats are trying to stamp out. You know, this town's enough to take a man's appetite away.
I can see that.
You know what that cake McCreef said to me last Thursday? Why didn't I go down to Labour and see what they'd got for me?
You have a fine big frame. I can see you performing miracles on a building site.
I'm an artist, woman. I had a sensitivity and a touch that made me the Yehudi Menuhin of the world of pornography. I numbered members of both houses of Parliament amongst my clientele, to say nothing of mail-order clients from the General Assembly of the Church of Scotland.
Charlie, to listen to you talk, anyone would think you'd just been a genteel peddler of filth. You seem to forget you were also a man of violence.
But that was ages ago. I haven't had a face wrapped around my knuckles in years. Hey, is this Thursday?
Yes, it is Thursday, as you well know. And shouldn't you be getting yourself presentable for your Thursday date?
Where are we going?
Well, you should know. What day of the week is it?
Oh, the probation office.
Do you know something? I'll never understand why a girl of that class with the look she's got is in a job like that. It's perverse. It really sticks in my throat. Hey, listen, I need a drink. I've got a lodge for stop. Oh, by the way, Hooch O'Hagan's back.
Who?
Hooch O'Hagan. He was released a couple of days ago on the understanding he would see the error of his ways and give up the stolen goose trade.
Hello, Charlie. It's nice to see you again.
And you, Hooch, eh? Just thought I'd drop in. Here you've given up your lifelong hobby of being a recidivist.
I've been involved in many a thing in my life, Charlie, but I've never been one of them.
Oh, figure of speech. Well, now that you've traded your life of crime for the superannuated payroll, I thought you might join me in a communal libation with one of our proprietary malts.
Well, actually, Charlie, I've been saving something for an occasion like this. And I can think of no one more fitting to share it with than yourself. There you are, Charlie. Lubricate your larynx with that little drop.
Well, here's to your astonishing good health, Hooch. Remembering that tomorrow is always the first day of the rest of your life. Oh, that's good. My thrapple was as dry as a chamois on a frosty morning. Well, I say this for you, Hooch. It would appear to be a very mature malt. And it certainly beats paregoric lozenges, eh?
Aye, well, God knows at a time to mature when you consider the years that I was out of commission. Unfortunately, that's the last of my private stock. And I'm afraid there's no more where that came from.
Where did it come from, as a matter of interest?
Ah, Charlie, sure, that would be telling. But seeing as you're not everybody, sure, I'll tell you. It first saw the dark of night on a mist-enshrouded peak in the rolling hills of Connemara, midst the purling waters of the Shannon. You're still with me, Charlie?
Oh, my way ahead of you.
Well, to make a long story short, the white monks of Listun Varna stumbled upon a band of poaching makers during Vespers and bound them to a vow of silence. But, Charlie, as you well know, every man has his price.
What would yours be, as a matter of interest?
Mine? It cost me 3 years behind bars. But being the eternal optimist, and to quote Oscar Wilde, I may have been lying in the gutter, but I was also looking at the stars. Aye, you remember?
Oh, I remember, aye. Do you still remember how to make the stuff?
Oh, my lips are sealed. You see, years ago, when I shared a cell with a certain Cornelius Deneen, he confided his recipe to me. And he made me promise on his deathbed never to reveal it to a living soul. And do you know, I sometimes get the feeling that he would turn over in his own quicklime if I ever did.
Oh, you did right, aye. But surely there must be some way of gleaning some information on the matter.
Well, during my last 6 months in prison, I worked in the prison library.
Oh, you do?
Aye, me too, aye. It's surprising what you can find in a library full of books. That's all I'm saying.
Aye. Oh, I can see that. Oh, well, hope to see you soon there, Hooch. Thanks for the baby. And may your giving hand never fail.
Aye, Charlie. And may you be in heaven a half an hour before the devil knows you're dead.
Bit dark in the dance hall, isn't it?
Waste not, want not, Charlie. I took the fuses out.
Well, I bashed my shins.
There's a full moon, shines straight through the fanlight.
Yeah, well, it clouded over when I arrived. But it's dark in here too, eh? There's no bulb in this.
The room doesn't need it.
It was a charming decorative effect.
At 2.710 PA unit, decorative effects have priced themselves out the market.
Well, what the hell is this sudden outbreak of parsimony?
Charlie, the school's barely holding its own. Expenses are going up all the time. Well, you should see these accounts. On second thought, perhaps not.
Well, I dare say they could be modified to show something startling. Couldn't you...
No, I couldn't. And how's your day been?
Well, I've been engaged in the reconnaissance, the fundamental secret of all strategy.
And what did his spy satellites beam back to you?
Oh, that there are still opportunities for men of resource and determination, and that there's nothing like the lack of a dram for giving a man a powerful thirst. What are you doing, woman?
What a lot of sensible folk are doing these days, using my head instead of my elbow.
That isn't even an imperial measure. That's the dribbling little English variety.
Well, maybe the English have more sense than we think.
That isn't a drink, that's just a dirty glass.
Maybe you'd like to stretch it with some water?
Well, I would, if you've got an eyedropper to put it in with.
Look, don't blame me. Blame the excise man. That bottle costs £4.50. 70p for the whiskey and £3.80 in tax.
Oh, it's economic assault and battery. You know, the miseries of our industrial revolution were dulled by cheap gin. And if the Bannockheads in Whitehall had any sense, the miseries of our present industrial decline could be anaesthetised by cheap whiskey. In my view, history shows that when a people felt a tax to be unjust or oppressive, like Charles I's ship money, their indignation overcame their inbuilt respect for government.
Dead right. Ship money was a diabolical liberty.
The tax on our national liquor falls into the same pernicious category. Therefore,
Therefore what?
we become indignant.
We do?
We overcome our inbuilt respect for government.
What inbuilt respect?
Precisely. That's what makes it easier.
Makes what easier?
To cast off the bonds of tyranny, to shove the exciseman's dipstick up his nostril and make our own whiskey.
Make our own whiskey?
Well, that's moonshining.
Well, I don't know what they called it in that mud-hutted kraal the slave traders dragged you from.
Listen, you might look as if you're living in 1928, but Al Capone's been dead a long time. You can't get away with it nowadays. That's bootlegging.
You could call it what you like. I call it self-help, enterprise, the entrepreneurial spirit upon which this country was built.
It's against the law.
Well, of course it's against the law. That's what made this country great.
Look, we know nothing about it.
Listen, my great-grandfather single-handed kept half the Highlands permanently legless for 50 years. And when he died, the pallbearers got so ineffably drunk on the aroma which emanated from his coffin, they passed the cemetery 3 times before negotiating the entrance. It's in the blood, sonny. It's in the racial memory. Oh, children, worldwide enterprises is on its way at last. Oh, it's great to be back in town. See me. I'm back. There's not only the local market to be considered. There's the rigs. Those oil rig lads are so thirsty they'd knock back paint strip if they didn't consider it a girl's drink. Palaces are drinking the hard stuff straight out of petrol pumps. That, over there, is about to become the engine, the powerhouse, the nuclear centre of our bid for the stars.
That? What, that?
Well, just the barn and the bothy. I've leased them for a nominal sum. But it's perfect for our purposes. Isolated, but with easy access. The only fly in the ointment's are Mrs. McTeague.
Who's she?
Oh, the nosy old faggot who lives in the cottage. She's only too delighted to spy on anyone just to pass the time.
Oh, that's all we need. Someone spying on us.
Oh, come on, girl. Where's your sense of challenge? I promise you will run so many rings around Mrs. McTeague she'll think she's the planet Saturn.
Morning, Mr. Free.
Endell, Dr. Endell, PhD, not MD. And these are my 2 associates, Dr. McIntyre and Dr. McGronshaw.
Oh, morning, doctors.
Hello?
And Mrs. McTeague.
Yes, the agent told me.
I saw you with them the other day. You'll be using the barn for some kind of stove, will you?
We're using it for an experiment in hydroponic horticulture. For an extramural arm of the Faculty of Agronomy at Glasgow University. Yes, you'll be quite familiar with the technique, so I'll try not to bore you with it.
Oh, no.
And we're keeping rather irregular hours, so we'll try not to disturb you.
Why? Well...
Head here to the right.
Oh,
Talk about country fresh. What a smell.
this is the glowing nuclear heart of things, is it?
I agree it's not at all savoury, but it's got power laid on. Once the still's in and a few good locks and bolts in the doors and production in full swing, it'll be fairyland.
The still? What size is still?
Oh, about 5 or 4 by 3 would be right for us, I think.
Would that be imperial or metric?
Feet. Also, we require a supply of barley, a steeping tank, a molten floor, a grinder, peat-fired kiln, mashing, tun and fermenting vat.
Oh, they're all on sale at Woolies, are they?
McIntyre, I can't help getting the feeling that your heart isn't in this.
Oh, you're damn right it isn't. At first it sounded like a bit of a lark.
I am not a larky type of person. Now listen. Your office rates and the tax and insurance on your ice cream van are going up and up all the time, so that what you've got left is worth less and less. Now here's a chance to hit back, to strike a blow for individuality, for the common man, the ice cream men of this world.
You're right. You're definitely right. We'll do it, but...
Well, this calls for a drink.
Now selling the Fourth Road Bridge.
Aye.
Regular Mary Poppins, Mr. Endell.
Well, I agree that this isn't exactly the quality that we'll be producing shortly. Still, never mind. Now, confusion to our masters. Let stealth and silence be our watchword. Tea break! I said tea break!
All right, all right. And buy a new tea bag, would you? That old one's about ready for off and negus.
Have you any idea how much all this has cost me?
Nothing. It's all knockoff.
Come to think of it, that probably goes for the tea bag as well.
At least there's no sign of trouble from McTeague and McTeague yet.
Oh, she's got nothing to go on so far. She knows we're scientists, and I told her that scientists were a rowdy lot. We've been company all the way out of Glasgow.
Who do you think it is?
Well, it's either Dix or Doc Green being nosy or one of Telfer's markers keeping score.
You really think Telfer's still alive?
Damn sure of it.
I wouldn't have said he was following us.
Well, there's only one way to find out. Hamish, foot hard down. Can you do a 4-wheel drift on this thing?
I can do a 4-wheel drift in a container truck.
Well, there's a concealed turning a couple of 100 yards further on. See if you can drift round that.
You're on.
Another 50 yards. Now!
We're not going to have to go through that every day.
No, we won't be going back to Glasgow for a bit.
What do you mean we're not going back?
I mean, we're not going back. Good morning, Mrs. McTeague.
You've been busy?
Yes, just setting up some apparatus. The demands of science.
Oh, hydroponic horticulture. I looked it up.
Oh, did you know?
It means growing plants in water without soil.
Indeed it does.
I'd like fine to see that sometime.
Oh, well, you'll see it, Mrs. McTeague, when the time is right.
Would you like any help in unloading?
Unloading, no thanks. Just some apparatus, you know. In fact, I think I'll unload another time. Yes, I'll just have a partake of a cup of tea just now. Well, goodbye, Mrs. McTeague. It's nice chatting with you.
Right.
Just making sure it's locked. One never knows these days, does one?
No.
Ah, it's locked, all right. That bug-eyed prod-nosed skinny Lizzie. She seems to be everywhere. No way of getting the rest of the gear past her.
Wait a minute. I've got an idea.
Well, she's prowling about all over the flaming yard.
Count to 100 by 5, 10, and then bring it in.
5,
10, 15, 20, 25, 30.
Not so fast. Start again.
5, 10, 15, 20, 25.
Oh, good morning, Dr. McGranty.
Good morning, Mrs. McTeague.
Right, I think we can make that fit.
Do you know, Worldwide, you really are a rather good nuts and bolts man.
You learn a few things in the Clyde besides up yours in Japanese, you know.
Now, you'll observe I fitted an immersion heater to the bottom of this still. We don't want any more fires than we can help.
What about the peat kiln? That can't be electric.
I know. We'll use the chimney.
That'll interest McTeague.
Well, why should it? We'll tell him we fitted up a stove.
She'll ask you, why do you suddenly want a stove in the barn?
Why do you suddenly want a stove in the barn?
I'm cultivating a rare species of degenerated Sumatran indoor polyanthus.
Oh, could I see one?
I'm afraid not, or they're just seeds as yet. Patience, patience. Right. Come on. Right. Our great-grandfather would have been proud of us, eh? Now, come along, children. The grand tour. Right. In here, right? Now, see this barley? When we've steeped it in here for a few days, we spread it out here, right, on the molten floor. Okay? Much more, of course, than that, you see? Right, that's for it to germinate. Now, round here, this is the peat kiln, okay? Right, we dry it in the peat kiln. Right? Spray it over the top and dry it. That's what gives it its flavour. Okay, on we go. Next, the grinder. We take it from the peat kiln and we bung it into the grinder, then give it a few grinds, right? When that's done, over here, we take it over here, bung it in the mashing tun, add hot water. And then, in due course, we pour it off here through the strainer. See the strainer, okay, right? And then a wee black bucket underneath. We take the black bucket with the contents thereof, and then we bung it into the fermenting vat here. Then we add the yeast. Right. That's thus converting the malt sugars into alcohol. That's what I've got down here. Right, over here, to the still, right?
Now, we distill the alcohol twice. After the first distilling, it converts into what we call the low wines. And then after the second distillazione, the low wines finally become the spirituous liquor we commonly call whiskey.
Oh, it's escalated out of all proportion.
What do you mean?
Oh, it's also so bloody professional.
I suppose you'd have preferred a bit of pint and a broken bucket, eh?
Well, something a bit more simple anyway. All I wanted to do was what you said, to make a gesture. But I seem to have got myself involved in organised crime.
Well, anything I take up is organised. Organisation's my strong suit. Anyway, it's a bit late now to have cold feet. Listen, once we get the peat, we're in full swing, brother. Oh, I'm definitely back. Definitely. See me. I'm back.
Morning, miss.
Good morning.
Jack Leakey is the name. Any chance of you coming down to my level for a wee minute, eh? Oh, no, I see there, isn't he? Oh, nevertheless, my mammy told me she'd always find a nice wee lassie that I could look up to.
Mr. Leakey, you are evidently a right wee comedian. But I think if we're to get on, you do better to be brief and moderately civil.
Oh, sorry. Maybe I just took too many punches to the head in my time, eh? Nevertheless, you are a gallant beauty, eh? With a tongue in your head like a manager in the losing corner.
Mr. Leakey, how can I help you?
Well, you look after us lot, do you not?
You lot?
Aye, ex-cons.
Well, it depends how ex you are and whether you've been assigned to me.
Oh, I am very recently ex, but unfortunately I have not been assigned to you. Nevertheless, I think you can help me, and I wish you would.
How?
Tell me where to find Charlie Endell.
Why do you think I know where to find him?
I know that he's one of the men that you've got under your wing. Oh, that's a lovely thought, isn't it?
Mr. Leakey...
Besides, I've been looking for him since I got out yesterday.
Why?
Well, he's in danger.
Well, I gather that's par for the course for Mr. Endell.
No. I mean, he's really in danger.
How really?
Well, a whole batch of us got out together.
Yes.
And about a week before we did get out, all the performers amongst us.
Performers?
Aye, hard men, specialists in GBH and such like.
I see.
We were all approached by a man with connections on the outside as to whether or not we'd be interested in picking up a contract in Charlie Endell.
You mean agreeing to kill him for money?
Correct, fair lady, correct. But the fact is, we all know Charlie, well, by reputation, if not personally. We always remember how he went down to the smoke and he showed them how Scotsmen could beat them at their own game. I've got a wee soft spot for him.
So there were no takers?
Correct, again.
Then why is he still in danger?
Because as soon as we turned him down, Mr. Big Mouth, the go-between, he told us it didn't matter anyway. Because his connections on the outside had decided to take care of it themselves.
When?
Very soon.
How?
The expression that was used was he would be in bits all over Glasgow. Now, even to me, that does suggest explosives. So, every time he starts his car, opens the door, even picks up the phone, it could be...
When thieves fall out, honest men thrive.
Why should I have any interest in saving Charlie Endell from getting his deserts?
Because it's your job.
My job is to save the people of this city from villains. It's not keeping Charlie Endell in one piece. My overriding ambition in the matter of Charlie Endell is to see him back inside. In bits, all over Glasgow, that's good as well.
Then you'll have no objection if I do the rest of your job for you.
If this was Texas, I'd pin a deputy's badge on you this minute. Cregan, any news of Charlie Endell since he disappeared?
No, Sarge. I think he's got the arse.
6 feet of it, I hope. Or since it's Endell, say 7.
Why should I know where he is?
I understood he was living with you. I mean, You're letting him a room?
And that's all I'm doing. He comes and goes as he pleases. I'm not his official secretary.
Do you know when he'll be coming back?
I've no idea.
Well, if he does come back, would you please ask him to get in touch with me?
Why? What's he to you?
He's part of my job, which I think includes stopping him from getting killed.
Killed?
Dr. McGranchy, that will be prod-nose to McTeague. Go and see what she wants.
I can't stop now. This is crucial.
Worldwide.
I can't leave my mash.
Oh, I don't know why I bother with a pair of you.
Because mugs are hard to come by.
Listen, if it's not too much to ask, bolt the door after me, will you?
I couldn't help noticing you'd started your stove.
On the stove, yes.
For your polyanthus.
Yes, for my degenerated Sumatran indoor polyanthus.
I brought my equatorial African violet. It needs moderate light, but a great deal of heat, so I thought you wouldn't mind if I put it in with your polyanthus.
Oh, I'm afraid that wouldn't do at all. You see, my Sumatran polyanthus and your African violet are not compatible.
I thought that might be so myself, but I looked it up in my dictionary of plants, and it said the African violet can live with anything.
That may be so, but you see, your African violet may indeed be able to live with my Sumatran polyanthus, but the point is, can my Sumatran polyanthus live with your African violet?
Oh, yes. I looked that up, too.
Did you?
Yes.
Oh, I think your dictionary must be wrong. I mean, one of them will not survive the encounter. But I'm willing to give it a whirl.
I'll carry it into the barn for you.
No need, I can manage.
Oh, I prefer.
I wouldn't dream of troubling you. Oh, isn't that a moth in your hair?
Oh, no, where?
There. Oh, it's flown away.
I'll come in and water it every day.
Well, there'll be no need for that.
Oh, I'd like to.
Hydroponic horticulture, remember? I mean, they're grown in water, dear lady. Watering them would therefore be a little unnecessary, don't you think?
Well, I'd like to see it regularly, to monitor how it's getting on.
Well, the first thing is to see if it survives. I mean, the first 24 hours in tropicals are often critical.
Oh, I'll come and inquire.
Well, there'll be no need for that. Water it. Hydroponic horticulture. Hmm? That prod-nosed McTeague. She's pushier than a sink plunger. If only I'd had her in Soho.
Would you beat her up?
Not personally, no. I'd have sent Big Maggie round to have a wee word with her. You know.
She's going to be a right menace coming round here to ask about her plant every 5 minutes.
Oh, she won't be doing that. Needs a lot of heat, she said. Oh, dear.
You really are ruthless, aren't you?
All right, come on, let's get on with it. The sooner we get this over with, the better. I don't think I can take much more of it.
Worldwide, this is one of those things one cannot hurry.
There's nothing you can't shift with the wind behind it.
Well, I'm afraid distilling whiskey is one of them, isn't it, darling? The furthest we can get today is to pour the first lot of mash into the fermenting vat and then add the yeast. Then we have to wait while it ferments.
How long's that going to take?
Oh, a few days. The book doesn't make it particularly clear. It's a question of trial and error.
I didn't think all this...
Then after fermentation, then we start the distillation. That's another thing one cannot hurry.
What kind of time are you talking about? For the whole thing?
Well, after distillation, they reckon 5 years for a good malt whisky to mature.
5 years?
Well, it needs that time to oxidise and mellow.
Well, we can't
and
wait
even the
5 years.
excisemen don't let it out their warehouses until it's 3 years old.
I'll be in the hands of the nut doctors long before that.
On the other hand...
Yes?
If we're not too fussy about balance and smoothness and texture...
Yes?
And break it down carefully with distilled water...
Yes?
We could be tasting our first bottle in a fortnight.
A fortnight? Oh, that's no bad. Oh, I can live with that.
Fetch that bucket of yeast, Janet.
You crafty devil. If you'd said a fortnight to begin with, you'd have thought that was forever.
Dirt tracks, every ditch when I lost them for the past 3 weeks.
No, aye. But I definitely didn't come back to Glasgow, that's for sure.
Themselves are no too pleased with us.
Well, let them bloody selves try and find them then. Hooch?
Yes, Con.
Same again.
Coming up, sir.
One wide, McGronshay, up skate. Such a morning it is when love leans from geranium windows and crows with a cockerel's tongue.
You what?
Laurie Lee, you dib Aborigine illiterate. You'd the misfortune to be born English, but you had the lyrical soul of a Scotsman.
Why all this sudden joyfulness anyway? You're usually a grumpy old so-and-so in the mornings.
Well, living in an illicit distillery for 6 weeks is conducive to a certain amount of misanthropy.
You what?
Today, my children, today we reap the fruits of our labour. Today we have the ceremonial tasting of our first batch. Voila. Well, my friends, slant you.
Slangy.
Slange.
What's that stuff they use for rocket fuel?
Liquid nitrogen.
Perhaps that's what we should use this for.
Well, its potency is what gives it its magic. All it needs is a certain amount of cutting with distilled water and maybe a hint of caramel. And then it'll be ready to be launched discreetly upon a world that hasn't yet realised that that's what it's been waiting for. It's only cost me $3.60 a dozen. I mean, at prices like that, I'm able to lash out some cases.
Well, don't give away too many freebies, or we'll be broke before we even start.
With the legwork you'll be doing, we'll have our market sewn up by this time next week.
Mr. Endell says he's conscious of the honour you paid him when he was last in these premises. And if you like it, there's plenty more where this came from, at £2 a bottle. There's no need to tell your customers that, of course.
No, of course.
Do you understand what I'm saying, Mr. O'Hagan?
Oh, aye. I understand that now, sir.
And Mr. Endell says he'll be in tomorrow for a report on customer reaction.
I do not, of course, approve of indiscriminate toping. I do it strictly for my health. Doctor's orders, you know.
Naturally, we all assume that, Mrs. Telfer.
You wouldn't like to recommend us to your doctor, would you?
To the decline and demise of Charles Endell.
What I can't understand is why your husband...
God rest his soul.
Aye. Well, why your husband wants Charlie Endell dead? I mean, I've always found that a bullet in the kneecap's a great little tranquilizer.
Gentlemen, if my husband, God rest his soul, were still among us, I'm sure he would agree that the finest tranquilizer ever invented is a bed at the bottom of the Clyde.
Aye. But not just in the one place. A wee bit here, a wee bit there.
But we can't find him.
Mr. Telfer
God rest his soul.
will be very sorry to hear that. There isn't one of you that he hasn't done a favor or two for in the past. I'm sure with a little application, you'll be able to lay your hands on him.
You'll be able to lay your hands on him. It's easier said than done.
The man's got earth.
Oh, Hagen, if we want another drink, we'll tinkle your bloody bell, okay?
This is on the house. As the most popular bartender in town, I have been asked to carry out a little market research. So just wrap your tonsils around that.
God rest his soul.
Hey, that's no bad.
Is it getting kicked in the guts with a mule? And then kissed better with a big blonde nurse.
It gives the order that.
Where'd you get this?
From one of my most exclusive suppliers.
Just leave the bottle.
No, I thought I would like to try it on some of the other customers.
Just leave the bottle.
Tell you what, I'll just leave the bottle.
But doesn't he tell us where to find them?
Loughran's Bottle Works. They'll know where they delivered the bottles. Ah, a little more whiskey, Mrs. Telfer.
Thank you.
I could have told you you were wasting your time. When Charlie Endell doesn't want to be found, you won't find him.
At least I've tried. I've been to all his addresses.
Oh, don't be so naive, Miss Moncrief. I've been looking for Charlie Endell since we left school.
Then why did you say you weren't interested?
I don't have to tell you everything I'm doing.
Tell me, do you believe he's going to be killed?
The Irish have a saying, the man born to be hanged needn't fear the water. Well, that goes for explosives too, as far as Charlie Endell's concerned. He'll either be knifed by a jealous husband or shot by an inflamed pornography student.
Then why are you so interested in finding him?
Because in my experience, when a man like Charlie Endell drops out of sight, it means only one thing. Plots. Stratagems. He's up to no bloody good, and I aim to catch him at it.
Go on, madam.
There's something very odd going on in that barn. I don't know what Dr. Endell's up to, but it's certainly not hydroponic horticulture.
What did you say that name was, madam? Endell.
I'll take that. Sergeant Dixon here. This man Endell. What do you look like? Uh-huh. Yeah. And that address again? Right. Mm. Thank you, madam. No. You did the right thing to report it. We'll look into this first thing in the morning. Report of a Dr. Endell behaving oddly at a farm called Thorny Dyke on the Inverary Road. It may not be Charlie Endell, but every time I hear that name, it gives me prickly heat. I'll be paying a call on Dr. Endell tomorrow.
Why not now?
Well, it's not that urgent. Do you know that part of the world? It's like a rabbit born above ground. One false turn in the dart and you're up to your neck in fertilizer.
Slip it under there, that'll do fine.
Beautiful. they no hear it ticking?
Don't be stupid. It's as quiet as a Ranger supporter at the Celtic end, son.
What time's it set for?
The man says lunchtime tomorrow. Well, it's goodbye from me.
And it's goodbye from him.
Come on, let's go.
I tell you, it's great-grandad all over again. There's a farmer in Auchentibber took 2 shots of Endell last night and ended up lifting a 16-hand stallion off its feet.
We're going to have to do something about the McTeague.
She nearly caught us bringing in these bottles this morning.
She's had her glasses to her eyes so often she's beginning to look like a panda.
Well, don't worry, I'll make her an offer she can't refuse.
You don't mean that.
I mean, I'll let her in on the slice of the profits.
Hey, the McTeague.
Oh, hell, I left that front door open. Look, I'll handle her. You two get that barley, huh? In the ice cream van, right?
Right.
Good morning, Mr. Endell.
Oh, my dear Miss Moncrief. What a pleasant surprise.
Do you know you really should be in politics with all the other liars?
How did you get out of here? How did you find me?
I do hate talking in hallways. It makes me feel like a meter reader. Can't we go in?
Oh, I have a much better idea. Hamish, there's a great little inn down the road where they do a jugged hare that has to be tasted to be believed. Why don't you lunch with me and I'll bare my soul to you?
A lunch sounds fine. I don't know about your naked soul.
Hamish, let's go.
They expect me to hump those bags of my own. Not you, Nelly. I'm away from my lunch.
Mrs. McTeague.
Aye, there's something funny going on in there. Hydroponic horticulture, my granny's arse.
We'll never know now.
Was that thunder in the distance?
Bum bum, a titty bumbaroni, a titty bum bum, a titty